What up, my friends? I was kind of avoiding. I guess I've been posting these dumb memes and stuff about the woman who was shot by the ICE agents in Minnesota, Minneapolis. But, I had about 3 people who were pretty liberal reaching out to me going, "Oh, you're a bootlicker. I can't believe that you're on the side of law enforcement shooting someone and blah, 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 blah." Like, I'm not on the side of law enforcement shooting somebody, right? Like, do I believe that she should have been shot? No. Do I think that she was trying to get away from the situation? Yes. But I can tell you from my own experience, right? I used to be a degenerate criminal, right? I've complied and I've not complied with law enforcement, right? And the non-compliance was when I was way younger, right? And I got my ass handed to me several times, right? Yeah, I got in some good licks and this and that, but I ended up having to do a pretty long jail term, almost 3.5 years as a juvenile because of fighting law enforcement, right? But I figured out later on that, so even if she was trying to get away, once the officer comes up and says you're being detained or arrested, right? You can't get away. They're going to continue to chase you. And my other thing is that when did it become okay to block law enforcement when they're doing their actions, right? Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't protest, that you can't protest, but peacefully, not getting in their way, obstruction, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And I get that people are so, emotionally involved in this, right? I understand that, right? And part of the First Amendment is peaceful protests, And again, I'm not saying that she should have been shot and killed. In fact, I think she was trying to get away. This ICE agent had been dragged by a car about 6 months ago. And you got to understand, right? The temperature is so high. The emotions are so high. The stress level is so high in the protesters and in the ICE agents. You have all of these politicians calling for, get your body in the way, make it uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, they're not doing any of that. They're activating you so that they can use your tragedy, your tragic death or arrest or whatever it is for fundraising on the left and the right. Again, I'm not a bootlicker. Do I have a certain amount of respect for law enforcement these days? Sure. I'm against bad law enforcement, bad police officers. But once they grab you, they say you're detained or arrested, there's no use fighting it in the street. You're not gonna win. Take it from someone who knows. I did 3.5 years of my youth from 14 until almost 18 years old because I fought 2 law enforcement officers. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it wasn't for any good reason, whatever. You can argue that this woman had a better reason than I did. And of course, she more than likely, right? I get it. People see things differently. That's okay. You shouldn't be killed for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying like, oh, she should have complied. Yeah. Well, I guess I am. I am saying, yeah, at that point, when the other officer's trying to open your door and telling you you're detained or arrested, you need to comply at that point because they're not letting you go. I don't care. Even if her car got away, they're going to track you down and they're going to grab you, And we've all seen the body cam footage of even if someone accidentally steps on the gas and the car lunges forward, they unload on you, right? You got to protect yourself, right? Self-preservation, situational awareness. Once they say, get out of the car, ma'am, it's over. You fight that in front of a judge. And seeing as where they are, where she was, even if she got arrested, those courts are going to drop those charges and let her go. You live to fight another day. That's it. Right? I don't have any love for bad law enforcement at all. Right? But I'm going to continue to do my thing, raise my children, and not make bad decisions that's going to take me out of their lives. That's it. That's it. And I understand, man, people are emotional about it. You have strong feelings about it. I got strong feelings about getting the freaking immigrants out of here. The illegal immigrants, okay? That's it. That's it. Say what you want. Call me what you want. I know who I am. I know my truth and what I'm about. I'm about my family, about taking care of my kids, building my business, being a good person to those people in my life and not like outwardly just trying to screw people over. I have legal immigrants who don't speak any English from Colombia, Honduras, Ecuador. They come in, we use a little translator. I cut their hair, because I'm a barber, and we have some laughs, you know what I mean? And we listen to music because we can't really understand each other. And they'll be like, oh, I like that song, you know what I mean? And we communicate, right? That's it. I'm not mean to people in everyday life. I have my opinions. I have my viewpoints. But that's it. That's what they are. They're my opinions, my viewpoints, and I don't change them or bend for anybody unless I discover new information. Once I get new information, I change my mind. That's why I'm no longer on the left, because I can change my mind with new information. I'm not on the right either. I'm more conservative than leftist now, but that's it, And that's just how it is. Peace.